just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar, brought to you by our partners, our friends over at Menulog. Been with us for years now. Just got a great feed delivered literally just then. Cannot wait to dig in. Botany Road Bagels, cannot wait to dig in. Brought to us with Menulog. Took about 20 minutes. And Menulog, one of the greatest bounce backs all time. They're currently, they've got an all-time better browsing experience. They've enhanced the courier features like tracking and courier chat. And they've very recently automatic refunds for missing items. So get around Menulog on one of the greatest bounce backs all time. And this interview is brought to you by Menulog with the big fella, Royce Hunt. How you going, brother?
Good, brother. Thank you for having me.
Mate, look, new club. First day of pre-season a few weeks ago. How you feeling, brother?
Oh, brother. I was just saying before that, I went back 3 weeks early at day one, and I was just thinking in my head, is it too late to go back on my break, or do I have to stick this out now?
Mate, I was going to say rookie error, but you're no rookie, Ross. You're no rookie, they got you.
Yeah, bro. Been around the block a few times, but, you know, after day one, I just kept thinking, I'll be better for it.
Yeah,
the team will be better for it. So
for sure.
Here I am.
And also, like, just the importance of your signing to the club. Like, you've got to be around those young boys as much as possible, because the more, you know, training sessions you do with them, the more they're going to listen, the more habits they're going to pick up. And like, that's what you've been, I'm assuming, brought to the club for, is to teach the younger fellows about the little things.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be the first time I've been one of the oldest at the club. So, you know, bring a bit of experience where I can, I guess, shed light on some parts of my game where I can help these younger boys develop a bit quicker than usual. So it's been good to get around these boys, and you know, I'm excited for the year ahead.
And I guess signing for the Tigers, you know, it's been like the amount of signings they've had, it's really, really exciting. But when you were sitting there and there was negotiations, and, you know, it seemed to me the Sharks did want to keep you, but obviously the salary cap is the salary cap. What was the catalyst that made you sign with the Tigers, do you think?
I've always been a guy that likes a challenge. So when I sat down with Benj, and, you know, it all happened pretty quick, to be honest. I'm pretty sure I had a meeting with him on a Monday, and the paperwork was ready by the Tuesday. And I guess it was in season. I was talking to the Sharks as well, and we're in good chats with them. And you know, I love everything that the Sharks have done for me, and like, we left on good terms. So, but yeah, I think it comes down to, you know, I got a bit of security with the 3 years, but also, like, I'm very excited to help this club get back to how they used to be back in the days. And you know, they're a very rich club in history, and you know, I'm very excited to help these young boys develop and, you know, take our spots.
Yeah.
It's a culture I want to build there, and, you know, I want to build that culture where the young boys aren't afraid to ask us for anything on or off the field, but also not be afraid to take our spots. Like, ultimately, that's what we want yous to do. We want to make yous come for our spots, which will only make us better as well. And I guess it'll take the club standard up to another level, which is where we want to be aiming.
Yeah, it's funny that, like, it doesn't matter whether it's the Storm, Penrith, or whoever. Every good club, there's competition for spots. Very rarely do you find a club that's super successful where you're not essentially fighting for your spot every week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we built that culture at the Sharks when I was there, and you know, going to trainings Tuesday and Thursdays were our work days, and like, Newtown Jets were carving us up at training. We're just sitting there going, this is what it's about. Like, if these guys are carving us up, then we know that they're ready to take our spot. So, you know, it's been a good few years at the Sharks, but yeah, I'm very excited for what we can do at the Tigers.
And had you met Benji before sitting down with him to chat?
Nah.
Really?
Never met him before.
Wow, what was that? Was that a bit strange? Because I'm assuming you grew up, you know, Benji the man.
Yeah. It was good. Like, I didn't watch too much footy growing up. You know, I grew up in Western Australia, so footy was never really like a road for me to take. So, like, I knew who he was, and like, obviously we've watched all his highlights and seen what he did back in the day. Even playing when he was 30-something years old, he was still like carving up. But yeah, it was cool to meet him and sit down, and he's a straight shooter, so am I. So we had a good, honest conversation, and left there feeling pretty good.
And you said, so you grew up in Western Australia. What was your sport growing up? What did you get into?
I didn't play much sport growing up, to
Really?
be honest. Play AFL at school.
Yep.
Just to get out of school some days, I'd go and play for the school and go versus other schools. It was pretty fun to play. Couldn't watch it. But yeah, not much sport, bro, until I was about 12. My old man drive me up to play, to play in the trials for the rep teams, the state teams, and maybe once or twice a year after that until I was 15. We'd go up to Perth to play a park footy game. And
No way.
bro, it was a 6-hour drive one way, play a park footy game, 6 hours back.
No way.
Yeah, it happened once or twice a year. Go up for the trials and make the state teams and go over to represent WA.
No way.
Teams.
And you said your old man. So is it your old man that's Hawaiian? You got Hawaiian descent?
Nah,
or is that G up?
That's a G up.
It's a G up. Got me.
It was pretty funny though, because I remember in high school when we first came over, and I came over first, and then my older brother came over the year after, and everyone would always ask us, and we'd tell everyone that we're Hawaiian. So it's just right, like it's just gone. Like we've ran with it. Everyone asks, we're like, yeah, bro, I'm Hawaiian. It's funny though. It's a good G up.
Oh, that's good G up. Because on mine it says Turkish and Kiwi, and I'm like, I don't even know where that come from. At least you know where yours come from. So Samoan heritage and Māori as well.
Yep.
And is it your father's side that's Samoan or your mother's side?
Yeah, dad's Sa, mum's Māori.
Yeah, okay. And have you gone back to New Zealand at all? Like to I guess, or New Zealand and Samoa. Have you gone back at all to meet the family or that?
Yeah, so first time I went to Samoa was after the World Cup. So we had the homecoming parade there. That was amazing. We got in about 3 a.m. in the morning, and the whole island was still packed.
Wow.
Literally, we had this little ceremony when we come out of the airport, sat down, had a little talk, and then jumped on a bus. We had our families with us, so we had a few buses, jumped on the buses, driving down the road, and it was packed, like both sides, kids running up and down everywhere.
No way.
I reckon about half an hour was just packed with cars. And then we got out into the whoops a bit, went through these little villages, and there were still people up sitting on their porches, waving the Samoan flag.
Oh, right.
Big signs out the front, welcome to Samoa.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. It was an experience I will never forget, and I got to meet all my family over there. Got to meet my grandpa's brother and all my family, so it's good to go back to where my grandpa was from.
Did it hit home more then when you actually see it? You know, like when you see what you're representing, like in the flesh kind of thing? Yeah,
definitely. We know what we were representing.
Yeah.
We know that it was just like a little island. It hasn't got much, but to put that on the map and make it a holiday destination for a lot of people. Because after World Cup, there was a lot of people wanting to go to Samoa.
Really?
There was a lot. So when we went,
wow.
We met the tourism people in Samoa, and they were just saying like, it's going to pick up. Like it's already started to pick up, and they've got so much flights coming in, America, everything. That people want to come to Samoa now. So
yeah, wow.
It was good to, I guess, put Samoa on the map again, and show everyone where we're from and how proud we are.
Yeah, wow. It's all those like things that you don't actually realize, like. You're bringing money into the island, which is helping the local community. Like, there's all those little things that you're not really thinking about when you're playing. I'm assuming when you're playing for your country, you're just thinking about representing and beating the other team and representing with pride. You're not thinking about like tourism's going up by 50%. And people visiting the island and that.
Yeah, it was definitely an eye opener. We're very happy to be a part of that as well. So to go back and see what we've done and how proud our people are of us was definitely something to remember. And
I mean, since we're talking about it, I mean, that World Cup, that was just, I mean, I'm trying to think of a similar situation I've seen in rugby league, and I just can't. Like, I remember, because I was traveling at the time, like on my honeymoon, and just like seeing the pictures of like Samoans in Australia with their flags out, and obviously pictures back from Samoa and that. What was it like being in, because like you're in this like bubble of, let's just say 30 players or 25, whatever it is, and like, essentially, anyone that has any connection to Samoa is watching you boys. Did you feel it when you're in it at all, or not really? You just kept it simple?
No, definitely. After, like, we could feel it when we started. When we lost to England the first game, 60-6, and you you still seen the flags flying like proud. They were still proud of us no matter what we're representing. And then it wasn't till we beat Tonga in the first final, and then you started seeing more and more parades coming out, flags flying, and then we beat England.
Right.
And then is when you see news feeds flooded with just the same song, 685 through your speakers. Like you were skipping, all you hear was sit. And we're going, bro, we're skipping everything else. Sit. Well, it was good though. It definitely hit home for us when we seen that happen, and flags were, you couldn't buy a Samoan flag in Australia anymore. It was sold out.
No way. That's sick. So sick.
But I guess it really hit home after that England game when we seen everyone's like news feeds flooded, and getting all these messages and all these followers, and everyone's just going, bro, this is actually pretty cool. Like we knew we could do it. We knew who we were from the start. Like, we had a team to do it, and we fell short in the grand final. But even then, we lost. Well, the whole world was. It felt like we won because the whole world was so happy. Like united. Even like all my Tongan mates, they were going for Samoa in the final. Everyone was like cheering us on.
Yep.
Even the English supporters.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty cool. Old Trafford. We'd been at Old Trafford like 3 weeks before that to watch Man U play, and then to play on that field 3 weeks later was crazy.
That's insane.
But we went out for a warm up. Everyone was cheering. Obviously, the whole crowd was English, so they were thinking that England were going to make the final.
Yeah.
The whole crowd was cheering for us when we ran out, and then Aussies ran out, and then boo! And I was looking around like this. Oh, these guys are all here for us. Like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember just looking around and thinking like, we're here now.
Yeah.
Like we've done this. This is what we've achieved. So be happy, be proud, and just go out and play.
And I mean, walk us through the semi-final against England. Like, so it was a drop goal from Critter, I'm pretty sure, that won it.
Yeah.
So it feels like so long ago. Like, walk us through that. When did you kind of start feeling like we might have done this here? We might have actually made history.
It would have been in the first 20 minutes. So we're in a bit of a grind at the start, and they've got some bloody big boys, the English boys, and I remember me and Junior were in a tackle, and we upended one of the Burgess boys. And I thought I was going to get sent for 10, but Junior got sent for 10, and I was thinking, bro, like, we've just lost the middle here.
Yeah.
This is like a semi. It's like, all right, just like knuckle down and just move faster, like get anywhere you can to tackle anything. And they couldn't score on us with 12 people on the field. And I remember thinking, like, if they can't score on us with 12, we're going to get them here. And then we're grinding. Critter gets that intercept, goes down, scores. And I was thinking, bro, we've got them. And then they score, like the very next set pretty much they scored. And I was going, bro, we're tied up again.
Yeah.
And then the last dying seconds, Chanel, you look at Milford, bang, straight out to Critter at the back, left foot, almost 40 metres out, sinks it. Well, I just remember looking up, and the whole crowd was English, and then there was second floor, there was this little balcony thing. Yeah. And there was our Samoan family there, and they had this massive Samoan flag. I remember looking up, and I was just pointing to them, and I was like, that's for you.
That's mad,
that's for you.
That's so good.
But it was definitely hit the heartstrings out, because we weren't meant to be there. We weren't meant to even make that game. So to be there during that was definitely heartwarming. And then we watched the reaction videos on Instagram, and I just remember people crying when Critter hit it, and they were all like on the floor crying, so happy, so proud, and that made me proud to be Samoan that day, and to watch everyone else react to that, it's definitely something that I enjoyed watching and wanted to play even harder for the next game.
Far out. Just an incredible, the last thing that I remember close to that is obviously when Tonga beat Australia, but it wasn't a World Cup, so it was it's a tiny bit different. Yeah. What about when you're seeing The Rock getting on board and sending videos and that? That was
I told all the boys it was my uncle, and I messaged him to send a video in for the boys, but that was good, man. Like, to see even all these like superstars, famous people reaching out, making videos. That was pretty cool. Like, for it to reach The Rock.
The Rock. It's like, mental.
It's got to be massive for it to reach there. And
That
was pretty cool. We even had messages from like Timmy Cahill and some other Samoan like superstars that were pretty heartwarming for us. And obviously he gave us some little spring in our step and gave us some pride to go out there and play again.
Far out, just crazy. Because Samoa Island, what is it, 200,000 or 300,000 people on it?
Yeah, there's not many, bro.
Not many.
There's not many.
And like, you think of how many, like, let's say there's a population of 225,000 that live there, and then maybe away from there's like 1 million, maybe, if that. That's such a small population compared to like Australia, like what's 21 million or 27 million now. The fact that you're even competing on that level is crazy when you look at how many people actually, 27 million compared to 1 million maybe. 500,000 in the whole world.
500 to 600,000.
Bro, that's insane.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's many Pacific nations that have made a grand final World Cup before.
Yeah, true. Because I think that was the first time Samoa had ever made a
grand final.
Far out.
I think it was the first time that they made a prelim too, so against England.
Yep. No way. Far out. What do you reckon is the best way forward for international footy? Because like, it's just, there's so much potential there, and especially the Polynesian players have like made sacrifices about going and playing for Samoa or Tonga, and like the pay has gotten a little bit better, but back in the day it was terrible.
Yeah.
What do you reckon the best way forward is to make sure that Samoa, Tonga, and the Pacific nations have an opportunity to play as much footy as possible?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Like, ultimately, it's up to the players what they want to do. There's been a few players that have stepped out of Tier 1 nations to go and play for a Tier 2 nation. I think it's ultimately up to them. Like, if they want, say Tonga, you had Jace, you've had Fafita, you've had Adam, all step out of playing for Kiwis or Aussie to go and represent Tonga. Samoa, you've had Pups, a few other boys that have stepped out of Tier 1 nations to come play for us. I guess that World Cup was probably a massive step towards that. I guess we've shown what Samoa can do with the right team, and that still wasn't Samoa's strongest team. You still got like all the boys that are playing for Australia and New Zealand that are all Samoan.
There's been whispers that Payne and Tino are considering it. Again, I don't know if that's true. It's just been reported.
Yeah, well, I hope they do. For them to represent Samoa would be massive for everyone. It'll definitely shed some more light on Samoa. But yeah, I guess, if Nelson wants to come back and play, then
big Nelson.
We wouldn't be opposed to it either. And Moses as well. So I guess it's up to the boys what they want to do with that kind of stuff. But if they do, I reckon it'll be a massive step in the right direction to make international football enjoyable to watch, and it wouldn't be one-sided.
Now, like for yourself, you're from WA. It's got to be a spin out to think of like, you barely grew up playing footy, rugby league, and then you're in this World Cup final, like just sitting there going, mate, I was like, rugby league wasn't even a big deal back where I'm from in Western Australia. I guess growing up, when did you actually fall in love with league?
Yeah, well, my old man was always a footy head. He used to play back in the day, just around here in New Zealand. Loved it. We've always been brought up watching footy, so would only be the big games. It would be like Origin or my cousin Carmichael.
Carmichael Hunt?
Yeah, when he played.
No way.
For Broncos.
Okay, that's crazy.
That was when we would be playing. Like, we would watch those games.
Yeah.
He was a freak. 17 years old, 18 years old, coming through.
Crazy.
Absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
Playing reps, and everyone was just like, wow, this kid is freakish. And before Benji, it was like the Carmichael Hunt step
and the haircut, bro.
He had the whole haircut, the mohawk going. Everyone used to rock the mohawks.
100%.
But it was cool to grow up watching that, and like I always felt a connection to footy. But But it wasn't until I was 15 and moved over here was when I started playing consistently and started falling in love with it. Moving over here, I didn't know what Harold Mats or SD ball was. I was just a young, naive kid coming over thinking, I've just signed at the Bulldogs, thinking this will be mad.
Yeah.
And then coming here, I was going, what's Harold Mats and SD ball? And, I remember going through the systems there. I got used to it pretty quick. The training schedules and
how did they pick you up, the doggies, just from the rep side?
Yeah, so my second year of playing under 15s for WA, I made the Australian team, and then I had a few clubs chasing me.
So you made the Australian side from the WA side.
Yeah.
That might have happened like a handful of times. How often did that happen?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, bro.
That's like would be never, literally.
Yeah, well, WA was like not known for rugby league, that's for sure.
Put it this way. So when I was coming through at 8, so there was the under-19s and they'd pick the Queensland side, and then they'd pick an under-19s merit side that was like underneath it.
Yeah.
And this is when I was 17. So usually like the players that have another year and they can make the Queensland side the next year, they'll get picked for like the merit side team the year before. So you're playing 2 years above your age, but you're just in the system kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we played Western Australia and like smacked them, like, and we were the reserve grade Queensland side.
Yeah, I don't think we won many games. That comp. We were versing like Queensland, New South Wales.
Yeah.
I was thinking there was 2 Queensland teams and 2 New South Wales teams. I was thinking about these guys are huge.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what are these guys eating, man? But yeah, after that, there was a few clubs wanting me, and
do you remember when they read out that you'd made the Australian side? Were you shocked? We're like, that's fucking mental.
Yeah, I was going, did they say the right name? What the hell? It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
To come over from there, I didn't even get a choice in who I went to. And then my dad was just like, I know Pete Mulholland from back in the day. You're going to Bulldogs because he's there. And I was just like, okay, whatever you say. Like, I remember him telling me, it was at breakfast one morning. I didn't even know. I was just thinking like, there's clubs that want me, but am I going to go or just going to stay in Cal?
Yeah.
And I remember he told me at breakfast one morning, just out of the blue, he goes, oh yeah, you're going to move to Sydney. You're going to go play for the Bulldogs and you'll be staying with your auntie and your uncle. And I was like,
what?
I was 14, 15. I was going, okay.
Oh, wow.
Sweet. And then came over here, went through Harold Matt's system.
Did you get homesick at all?
Oh, no.
No, you loved it.
Kalgoorlie to Sydney, mate. This is like the big smoke for me.
Oh, okay.
There's unlimited opportunity here.
Yeah,
for me,
okay. So Kalgoorlie, how many, like what's the population there or roughly? Is it a small town?
It's tiny, bro. Yeah. It is tiny. When I was there, couldn't tell you like how many people there was.
It's
tiny.
Just small.
It's like a 1-street town pretty much.
No way.
It's like middle of a desert. Closest beach is 4 hours away.
What? So did your dad move there from the mines or something?
Yeah, he went there to do the mines. Yeah, he's still over there.
Yeah.
In the mines. Mum's over there. My older brother and sister over there too. It's just me and one of my brothers here. But it was pretty crazy to go from that little small town to Sydney, and I'm just going, I'm going to get in trouble here. I'm going to get in some trouble here. But, yeah, it's pretty cool experience to come over and go through Harold Matt's SG Ball 20s and then make my way into an NRL system from there.
That's crazy. Like for your old man just to go, you're moving over, like probably understanding that, you know, it's best to just like get it done, get you over there into the system as soon as possible. Because like I think even me, like if I had a young 15-year-old, I'd be like, oh, is it too early? Should I keep him here till he's 18 and then send him over? But then I'm like, the earlier you get over there, the quicker you can get into a system and like train and get up to that standard.
Yeah.
Far out. So you're a 1-street town. So everyone would have known everyone then.
Everyone knew everyone.
Yeah, wow.
Literally. It's pretty small. You could drive from one side of town to the other in about 7 minutes, I reckon.
Far out. And does he still live there?
Yeah, they still live there.
So he just loves that chill living.
Yeah. I've been telling him, it's about time you retire, mate. Come over.
Yeah.
Come over. Your grandchildren are over here.
Yeah.
My sister's just had a kid too, so that's going to keep him there for a few more years.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so when you do move over here as a 15-year-old, so you just loved it from the get-go? Like there wasn't any like, oh, I want to go home or anything, just the boys are here, I'm loving playing footy?
Yeah. I remember my mum and dad come over to bring me and we went to school, first day at Bass High, and I was sitting in the office and I was just sitting there and the coach come in for Harold Matts. He's a teacher there, John Wilson, great fella. And he was talking to like one of the other players that were it was his first day there. He was always from the country. And he was talking to him and he goes, oh yeah, he'll show you around, da-da-da. And then he turned around to me and he goes, oh, are you here, da-da-da, like for footy and that as well? I was like, yeah. And then he goes, oh, you go with them too? And then he goes, how old are you? And I was like, oh, 15. He goes, oh, well, you're one of my boys then. You're in the Harold Matts, not SG. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, I'm the coach, John Wilson. I met him and then he goes, come with me. And then got up, walked around, met some of the other boys that were there, all in the doggies system. And we never looked back. It was happy as there. And we used to go to training before school, train with the boys. Yeah, I just loved it. It was a different routine for me. Definitely something different compared to Kalgoorlie. I'd just wake up, go to school, go home, go to town, hang out with my mates in the middle of town for a couple of hours after school. Think we're cool as and then go home.
Far out. It would have been it's such a, like when you arrive in Sydney and you start actually like going into town and like the city and that, like it would have just been like mind blowing to you.
Never caught a bus in my life. Never caught a train in my life ever.
No way. Coming
over here, and it took a bit of getting used to to find a bus or a train and to find my way around. But you know, we got used to it, and I started catching buses to school, to training, figure out how to use the trains and which line to catch, and it was pretty cool. Definitely something different for me, but you know, I had the boys there to show me. And it was pretty cool. I never went anywhere without them, so I could never get lost. Yeah,
100. And so 2014-15, you play in the NYC team. How do you reckon you went in those first 2 years?
Probably wasn't the best day. I was young coming through, so I made the schoolboys team in 13. Thinking I'm on top of the world, I was like, yes, sweet. Going in 14, like I was a bit overstimulated, thinking I was going to be walking into the 20s team, and I was just going, whoa, like these boys are huge coming in here. I was like, this is definitely a big step up. And I remember playing my first game in 20s, and I was on the bench, and Sean Lane had got knocked out off the kickoff, and I was the back row to replace him, and I went on. Laney went in, had a shower, got tested, come back out, and I was already back on the bench. And I was going, he goes, I thought you were going to go on. I was like, yeah, I did. I said, I lasted about 4 minutes and I was gone.
No way.
I couldn't breathe. It was so fast. I just remember thinking like, oh, I've stuffed my chances here. Like,
yeah, wow.
When we're going on and coming straight back off, and I was going, oh, well, it is what it is. Like, back to the drawing board. Like, it was pretty funny though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, you know, I learnt pretty quick, and I had a trainer there called Gary Carden. He's a real hard nut. He was there when doggies were in their glory days, back when Sonny Bill and that were all there. He trained all of them, and he's a guy that makes or breaks you. I remember he catches you skipping a rep, you're on the rowing 5K straight away. In between. So you're doing weights, it's 6:30 at night, just finished field doing weights, and he catches you doing that. Go and do 5K and then go back to your weights.
Oh my God, 5K,
it was crazy, man. Like he was not someone to mess with. Yeah. But once you, I guess, earned his respect, like he trusted you, then like he was actually a real good bloke, and you know, I loved being there. I remember there was a stage where I didn't want to play. I was off it. I couldn't be bothered. I was working, and I remember one day we're running cotton. I was just going through the motions, just didn't care about anything. And he called me something. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't nice. And in my head, I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I'll show this old bastard. And then I just started running, and I started winning all the con. And he was just like, I remember I come back from winning a rep, and he was like looking at me funny. And I was like, what'd you say to me? What'd you say? And then he goes, said something else. And I was just like, oh yeah. Next rep, boom. Pelted it, won the rep, and I was just going, keep going, I'll show you. Yeah. And then
meanwhile he's going, yes, mad.
In the back, I was thinking I'm beating him, but he's beating me mentally, and I'm going, I got this guy easy. And he it was a good bloke, and I guess he gave me that work ethic or he gave me that mindset to think like I can do it. Like there's no point in going through the motions when you can reach your potential quicker if you go a lot harder.
Yeah.
So from then on, I started playing a bit more regularly. But yeah, I guess by the end of 20s, I was a bit off it still. Didn't really want to play anymore, and I was going to quit. I remember calling my old man, my manager, and I just said, like, I've had enough. I'm just going to work. And then my dad was like, oh, well, if you're going to quit, you're going to come back to Cal, you're going to work in the mines. And I said, nah, I'm not coming back to Cal. Like, I'm happy where I am. I'm going to work here, just live my life. A few phone calls happened, and Pete Mulholland caught wind of it. He called me a few weeks after I finished my last year at the Dogs in 20s, and they weren't going to re-sign me. Like, my head was all over the place anyway. I wasn't expecting to be re-signed. And I remember Skull called and he goes, come for a meeting at Mounties, which was Raiders Feeder Club.
Yep.
And I was thinking, out of respect, I'll go to this meeting. But I'm going to tell them no.
Yeah.
Like, I was going there prepared to say no, everything. And then he pretty much just said, here's a contract, sign it. And I said, oh, I'm all right, like, I'm just going to go work. And he goes, nah. He goes, you're going to sign this contract, and in a month, if you still feel the same way, we'll rip it up, then you can go on your way. And I said, all right, done. Signed a cup contract to Mounties. Fell in love with the game again. Absolutely loved Mounties, my time there. Fell in love with the game again. And then they had a pathway there for the Raiders. So they'll take one person from Mounties and take them up to Canberra for a month to, like, train, see how they like it, see if they fit in. And then 2017, I went up and I enjoyed it. A month turned into 2 months, 2 months turned into 3 months, turned into a debut, and then turned into 2 years after that.
No way.
So it was pretty crazy. Like, my route to the NRL was pretty crazy. And, then I started falling into that, like, I'm professional now, like, I need to do everything. So I trained the house down, probably the fittest and strongest I've ever been overall. But then it kind of crushed me again to think, like, I've only played one game in 3 years. And I remember asking for a release early, and Sticky was like, nah. I don't, like, he goes, I've been meaning to ask you, like, if you want to stay around again, like, we need you, da-da-da. And I said, brother, I've played one game in 3 years. I'm good enough to play. I know that you've got a lot of boys ahead of me, like, great players, like, rep players. I get it, but there's been injuries where I haven't even got a look in. And it kind of dampened me a bit. And me and my wife were just, like, living in Canberra, driving to and from Sydney every week to play cup. And kind of dampened our moods a bit. And then Sharks. So I was supposed to go to Sharks mid 2019. And
before we get there, though, let's go back to the debut. You jumped over the best bit, bro. The debut.
I wouldn't really call it a debut.
How did it come about? Like, were you just going really well in Mounties?
Yeah. So I remember, like, I was scoring a few tries. Like, a couple of games I'd score hat tricks, and like, I was playing well. I was playing well enough to play NRL, I'd say.
How old were you at this stage? 20, 21?
About 20, 21, yeah.
Yep.
And I think I fell into that mindset where I thought I was good enough, and, like, to be crushed every week. Like, me and my wife would wait Tuesday every day, like, every Tuesday at 4:00, we'd wait for the team list to come out. Wouldn't hear anything, and we weren't even in the 21, so I'd be like, all right, back to Mounties, done it. I'd talk to Sticky, ask him what I need to do. He'll tell me what I need to fix. I'd go and fix it the next game, go back to him. And it got to a point where, like, I was going pretty frequently. And I remember him saying, like, you're going to play this week, you're going to play. And I said, yes, sweet, like, I'm keen as, I'm ready to go. And then get to Tuesday, I'm not even in the 21. And I was just going, shattered.
Yeah.
Shattered. And I just said, like, it is what it is. We'll just finish out our career here, and then we'll see if there's something else. But I remember like I wasn't thinking I was getting a debut because I'd gone up late, like almost mid-year. I'd gone into the Raiders system from Mounties. And then I remember Jared Toots, Croker was he came up to me at training one day and he goes, how you feeling? And I was like, bro, I feel alright, I'm pretty good. And then he goes, just stay ready because the next ones out the gate would be like you and Mux and Makahisi Makatoa. He goes, you two will be the next two out of the gate, so like just stay ready. You never know when you're going to be called. And in that week, I remember the Tuesday came. I stopped looking at the team list day, and then I started getting all these messages and calls, and I was going. I remember Shannon Boyd got injured, and I wasn't expecting to play. I got all these calls and messages, and I was like, what the hell? Looked on the team list, and I was named, and I was going. Looked at it again. I was like, are you sure? And I showed my missus, and I was like almost in tears. And then later on, Ricky called, and he was like, I assume you've seen the team list? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, you're going to play this week. Don't know when you come on, but you're going to make your debut. And I was just like, thanks, bro. Like, I appreciate it,
Yeah.
And I remember I got on 10 minutes ago and came off with 4 minutes to go. So I played 6 minutes in total for my debut. It was against Penrith, and we lost. So we were winning the whole game, and they came back and won it in the last couple minutes. So
no way.
It wasn't those minutes that I was on. So.
You can't get played for it. Oh, fuck. So do you remember anything specifically, sitting in the changing rooms just going, kid from WA, tiny town, footy isn't big over there. Now you're sitting about to make your debut at all, or?
Yeah, it was the week leading up to it. So it was a country game. So it was out in like Bathurst or WA Orange, one of them. And we'd gone up there the week before and did our training, and we were cruising around the street, and I was walking around with all these NRL players, and I was like, right, is this what it's like?
Yeah.
This is pretty cool, like knowing I'm going to play like with these guys. And I remember Blake Austin pulled me aside the night before, and he goes, it's just like any other game you've played. You're just playing with a lot better players, a caliber where you've never played with before. He goes, so just play your normal game and you'll be sweet. And I said, thanks, bro. Like I've kept that with me the whole time, like my whole career now. Just going like, it's something I pass on to the younger boys as well when they're making a debut. I always tell them like, same as any other game. Don't get overexcited. Same as any other game. You're just playing with players that are a lot better than you're used to. And it was pretty cool to go in there and then like sit in the change rooms and see everything out for you, folded, your t-shirts, everything set up, ready to go. And I was like, this is pretty cool, man. I'll get used to this. And then, got my debut. My whole family came over. Some from New Zealand, all the ones from WA came and made the trek out to Bathurst or wherever it was we were. And it was pretty surreal. Even to get 1 minute, I was happy.
Mate, it's still amazing. And so that was the same 12 months where Peter Mulholland said, I'm going to make you sign this contract, and then in a month's time, if you don't want to come back. Was that in that same year?
No, it was
the next year?
The year after.
The year after.
So, I played the first year at Mounties and loved it. We made the grand final.
Yep.
And I loved every minute of playing for Mounties. Made me fall in love with the game again.
And so the second year after that, that's when they called you into the side. Okay, so you make that debut, and then I'm assuming, and this is brought to you by Menulog, and Menulog on one of the great bounce backs. That next couple of years, I'm assuming it would have been one of the tougher times in your career, as you already alluded to. Like, you made your debut as a 21-year-old. You're not necessarily, I'm assuming, going, I'm in the team every week now, but you would assume you're playing like 10, 12 games a year at least. What was that next couple of year period like for you?
Yeah, I guess, we get to the preseason thinking, or the preseason after I debut, thinking, like I've got my foot in the door. I've got my player number on all my training gear. Like I think, like I'm here. Like I'm ready to go. Go through preseason, some of the best preseasons I've had, and then to not be able to crack the 21 over the next 2 years was pretty heartbreaking. To know that we've done all the work and, I'm good enough to play. It's just couldn't get in. Wasn't any spot for me to get in. So they were pretty dark days for my wife and I down in Canberra.
Yeah.
But, to to get a lifeline from the Sharks was probably the best thing that's happened so far, because I went there knowing I needed to work hard. I went there on a 52-week training contract.
No way.
So I was just there to train all year pretty much.
And so that they can just 1 week say that you're done pretty much if you're on a training trial. So like they can walk in and go, you know what, it's been good, mate. You've been all right, but unfortunately, you know, we're going to move you on kind of thing. There's no certainty at all.
Exactly. And I remember going there and Sifa Talakai was there.
Big fella.
And it was the first time I met him properly. I played against him a few years, and first time I met him, we had a little talk, and like I mentioned to him that I was on a 52-week training contract, and he looked at me and goes, "Bro, I'm on a 26-week training contract."
No way.
And I said, "There's no way," and he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, so we kind of made a little pact there, which was, you know, this will be our last shot. Well, I said to him, like what I've been through in my career so far, like it's pretty hard. So I said this would be my last shot at an NRL career before I would just go back to work. And he looked at me dead in the eyes, straight face, and said, "Bro, that's where my head's at right now."
Wow.
He goes, "This is exactly where my head's at. If I don't crack it this year, then it is what it is, and I'm going back to work." And I said, "All right then." So me and you will hold each other accountable. We'll do the best we can to turn heads, and that's what we did. We trained hard. We were both strong, both trained well, and we fit right into that mold of the mold that they were looking for. And I remember there was one 30 spot left, and it was just before our season launch, and the day of our season launch, sorry. And I remember Bomber pulled me aside and he goes to me, I'm going to give you the last 30 spot. And I said to him, like, "Thank you. What about Sif?" And he said, he's going to be on a development, so he'll be around. And then if a 30 spot opens, like, he'll go in. And I said, "Well, that's good enough for me." And I remember talking to Sif, and I just said, like, "Sorry, bro, like, they gave me the 30, and he was so happy for me, eh? He was so happy for me, and like I said, like, you deserve it as well. Like, you deserve to have a 30 spot. And he goes, "Bro, I'm fine. As soon as one opens up, I know I'll get it because I've done the work."
Yep.
And then literally that next week, COVID hit. COVID hit.
No way, bro.
And the 6 weeks that we were off, 3 people left from the top 30. Sifa got put straight in, and we were the happiest people on earth.
Wow.
I remember him messaging me. He goes, "I got the 30," and we're just smiling. I remember like calling him, going, "Yeah, lad, like, that's us. That's us." And we pretty much played every game that year.
No way.
And
so the 3 blokes that left, did they sign with other clubs, or they just like
one of the boys didn't? He just left.
Just didn't want to be stuck in the bubble or something?
Was J-Moz. He went to finish his career with Brett. And then I think Boogie Bakuya retired.
Yeah, okay, wow. No way.
So it was
talk about trust and hard work, like, you know, just going, "Look, I'll get this spot because I've worked hard," kind of thing.
Yeah, literally. We knew we had done the work, and we'd put in all the yards to get to where we wanted to be. And I remember every payday, because we were on matches. Every payday, we'd message each other as soon as the money went in. Like, "Lad, what did you get?" And he'd tell me, I'm like, "Yeah, me too." And we'll be like cracking up, laughing. We're both on bare minimum, getting heaps, so we're like cracking up. But it was...
Bro, as a young man, the first time you get that kind of money, you've never seen that kind of money. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd never seen that kind of money before. I was on the
bare minimum. And then these matches were just like taking it way over, and we were the happiest people. Like every payday message each other. But we became pretty close, and for him, he's the same. Like, he had a bounce back as well. He was at Souths, got sacked from Souths, had a hard road, ended up in Cup at Penrith and Newtown, and I guess we both were at the right place at the right time, where we had that mentality, like, it's do or die. So, like, to bounce back from where I was to playing NRL consistently every week, and holding out players that are really good. I guess that was a stepping stone for my career, or to forge my career into where I am now. So I was 5 years at the Sharks, played majority of games apart from the year that I did my knee. But yeah, I guess
Yeah, it's crazy to just get that
where
top
I am
D spot.
now, to wanting to quit again, to where I am now, where I'm in a position where I can help younger boys understand the game a bit more, and to help them slow it down in their head so they can make the right call or help the person next to them. It's pretty cool and surreal to be in this situation and position. I'm very grateful. And yeah, I guess that's my bounce back story. And
Mate, it's crazy to think how close you came to quitting multiple times. Did it almost feel like a debut again when you played for the Sharkies because it'd been so many years?
yeah, definitely. I never really counted the Canberra game as a debut.
Okay.
Like it was definitely happy while it was debut while I was there, but like 4 minutes, it's 4 minutes still. Like it's 4 minutes more than a lot of people play. But for me, like I knew I wanted more and I was hungry, and to have a fresh start at the Sharks and have a coach that believed in me, then that's what drove me to be a better player. Because for someone to show faith and trust in me like that, to bring me over from another club, give me the last 30 spot, make me work for it, you know, it was definitely something I wanted to repay. So it's the same thing now. You know, with Benji coming to talk to me and, you know, putting so much trust in me, like I want to repay it. So like I'm doing everything I can to get my body right to do that. And, you know, I'm ready to help lead this team into the top 8, top 4, back into the semis, back to where they belong.
Mate, it's insane how many, like even little things like when, you know, Peter Mulholland was like, you're going to sign this contract and I'll give you a month. Like just that, I guess, understanding that as a young man, you just needed that little push along to go, just follow this through to see how you go. In that first year, so this was 2020, correct, when you played those games for Sharkies?
20, yep.
Yeah. And so you dislocated your knee in round 19.
Snapped the patella.
Mate, what happened?
My good mate, Hargraves, Jazz. He, you'd probably call it a hip drop these days, but it was skiing off the back of me, and I just remember like I was just kept pumping my legs, and then I just felt it go bang. Heard it, and I just remember dropping to the floor, and I was in pain, and I remember looking down and my kneecap was in my quad, bro. Like I could see it. It was up in my quad, and I was going, but it's not supposed to look like that.
No.
My knee was so fat. It was like looked like a UFO. It was like out like that, and I was going,
oh God,
it's not supposed to be like that. Like I have a pretty high pain threshold, and I remember the physios come on, and he goes, like, "Are you good? You good to play?" And I looked down. I said, "Brother, that don't look right, eh?" And he looks down and he goes, "I think you've ruptured your patella tendon." So I've had problems with that patella before.
Yep.
And it was literally like 12 minutes after Shawnee had ruptured his Achilles.
No way.
Same game. Shit. And I just went, all right. And then he goes, "Do you want the Medicab?" And I said, "No way." I ain't no bitch. I ain't no bitch getting carried off in a Medicab. I said, "I'll walk off." I promise you, I took one step, couldn't walk. Bring the Medicab. Bring the Medicab. I can't walk. I remember I couldn't even get on the Medicab. It was so small. And I remember standing on it like this, and I had my knee like just dangling. And we were driving off the field, and I was just waving at everyone. And when we get into the change rooms, I was going, "This ain't that bad. Like, it's sore, but like I feel like I've felt worse." And I remember sitting there. They had ice on it, and the physios were like, 2 ruptures in one game. Like, that's unheard of.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I guess I was in high spirits at the start, and then seeing the specialists and the surgeons, went home, and you know, that was that. Snapped the patella. They said it'll be a 6-month recovery, and I remember I was flying. I was flying through recovery.
Yeah.
I guess like I wouldn't let my mind feel the pain, and I just kept saying, "I'm good. I'm good." Kept pushing it. I was back up and running like weeks before I was supposed to, and then there was a big day. I probably hadn't got my quad back to where it should be.
Yeah.
And I ran about a 7K day on the sideline while the boys were training. I was just running up and down, doing trying to get fit. And I remember when I finished it, I walked over and I sat down. I looked down and my knee was fat as again. I was going,
no.
I asked the physio, I said, is this supposed to look like that? And he goes, no, it's not supposed to. And I went, had a scan, and they said, like, I tore it again. Like, put another little tear in it, and I was going,
what?
You're kidding me.
How's that even possible? Like, 'cause it's not like you would have been.
Just had it repaired.
Yeah.
Like, and they were saying, like, you just pushed it too hard. Put a little tear in it, so I would have pumped the brakes again. So that pushed me back. I went from 6 month. Actually, I was on track for like a 5-month return. I went from that to a 10-month, 3 day or 3 weeks or something. 10 months and 3 weeks was like my return to play.
Far out. Where's your head at then? Because you'd finally achieved the dream. You know, you'd worked
on my feet, and then cracks again. And I was alright though. Like I'd re-signed for another 2 years, and like I was excited. I was just happy to be there. Like I'd already gone through so much in my career where this was nothing. It was, It was a little speed bump, and like the boys were there supporting me, the club, everyone was there. The physios used to do home visits to me. And,
wow.
I'd be like, but these guys are cool. Like I want to be a part of this, and when I get back to playing, like I'll repay them.
Yep.
And then it was during COVID when we went to the bubble, and like I still wasn't ready to play. I was maybe like a week or two off, and I was thinking maybe they'll just leave me here. Maybe they'll just leave me, and I guess just get me fit for next year. And when they said that they were going to take me, I was like, oh, this was when my wife was pregnant too. So she was, well, before we went up, she was about 6 weeks until she was ready, her due date. And they said it was supposed to be for a month. Like we'll go into the bubble for a month and then see where things are before we come back and play normally. And like everyone knew that a month was unrealistic. We were going to be there for the rest of the season, which was 2.5 months. And I went over there. I said before we left, I said I need to be back in a month. I said I'll come over for a month, maybe like 5 weeks, and I'm going to be back to spend the last week with my wife before she gives birth. And they said, yeah, mate, sweet as. So I went over, finished my rehab off over there, got back to playing, played my first game in 21 against the Bulldogs. We won that game. Then we played against Manly, started playing a bit better, and then we were supposed to verse the Warriors on the Saturday. And we finished captain's run. I was the barber in the bubble, so I was cutting all the boys' hair. During
Did you just teach yourself that, or what?
100. YouTube, Instagram, just watch all these videos. This ain't that hard. I got to admit, some of the boys rock some butchered haircuts for me. Yeah, that's why. Like the last few years, like I'll just cut it because they ask. Yeah. But like they're my guinea pigs. So I remember Ronnie was like, "You owe me like 500 haircuts for what you put me through." I said, "Brother, look better during COVID because everyone had the same haircuts." And then he goes, "Yeah, nah, that's true." I remember, cutting hair all day, and then we'd cooked dinner, ate, cleaned up, and I went up to my room about 9 o'clock, had a shower, called my wife, say goodnight. She was just getting a massage from my mum. So I'm going to bed. I'll call you in the morning. Put on a movie. I was just about to fall asleep, and 9:30 my phone rings again. I answered it. My wife was crying. I was like, "What are you crying for?" And she goes, "My water's just broke." And I said, "No way. This is 2 weeks early." I said, "No way." I said, "All right, let me call you back." Called out our manager, the team manager, Noxie, and I said, "Bruh, like, Siobhan's water's just broke. Is any flights out? Can I get home?" And he goes, 2 flights out a day during COVID, and they're both gone. And he goes, "You can wait till the morning or jump in one of the boys' cars and drive." And I was like, my head was off. I didn't know what to do. First kid thinking like labour's going to be hours. Be like long as. And I was like, it's unheard of to happen pretty quick. And this was already at like 9:30 at night. So I was like, I put in a chat anyway, messaged the boys. I said, because they all got their cars taken up on the truck. And I remember putting in a chat, said, "Anyone got a car I can use? Siobhan's water's just broke." And a minute later, Braids replies back and goes, "Yeah, G, come and get the keys." And I was like, "Sweet." And I was just sitting there, didn't know what to do because I was like, do I wait till the morning, get on a flight, or do I try and drive at 10 o'clock at night? And then I remember hearing my name being called, and Big Woodsy Big Woodsy's running down the hallway with Braden's keys and he's like calling my name. And I was like, who's that? Open up the door. And he runs past, he looks, and I was like, yeah. And he stops and runs into my room and he goes, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. Do I wait till the morning? And he goes, are you stupid? He grabs my suitcase, starts throwing anything in there. Like I had so much stuff and I had my whole like PlayStation set up, monitor, everything in the room. And he goes, don't worry about all that. We'll get that sent over to you. Yeah. And I said, are you sure? Like, he goes, get in the car and drive. And he literally packed my suitcase, gave me the keys, walked me down to the car, chucked my bag in the car, shook my hand, gave me a hug, and he goes, I'll see you next year. And then I said, it was funny because Sarah, his wife, had just given birth, and then 2 days later, she's on a plane to come into the bubble. And so he was like, it was touching home for him, I reckon, and that's why he told me to get in the car so early. And I remember driving up out of the driveway of the hotel, and the whole team was out the front of the lobby in the driveway, and they're all singing.
That's
nah, 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 nah. Oh, no. Hey, goodbye. And I was just like beeping the horn. I was later, boys. So I left the hotel like 10, and I was thinking like, I don't know, had in the maps. I didn't know. Like my head was still off, and I'm calling my wife back. I said, I'm in the car. I'm driving now, and she goes, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm driving. Like, I'll be there in a few hours. And she goes, take your time. Like, don't try and speed to get here. And then I remember calling her. Her mum called me about an hour later and was like, you're not going to make it. She goes, so just slow down, cruise, and just get here safe. And I said, what are you talking about? It's her first birth, mate. I went to labour at 9:30.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, you're not going to make it. And I was like, we'll see. Just kept gunning it. No one on the road. It was COVID, so there was nothing. No one but trucks on the road. Yeah. And I was hammering, and I remember I got just on the other side of Port Macquarie. It was about 2:30 in the morning, and I was getting a FaceTime call. And I was looking at my FaceTime, and it was like my wife's mother-in-law. And I was like, what's she FaceTime me for? I pulled her over on the side of the road, answered it. And it was my wife giving birth, and I was like, no way I've missed this.
No way.
Like, oh, man. And like I was just on the side of the road in tears watching my son being born, and like my wife going through all that pain. Yeah. And I was like, man, what a soldier, eh? Like, I'm not even there to help you, and like you're doing this by yourself. And like I apologized. I said, I'm sorry I didn't make it. And she goes, it's not your fault. Yeah. I did tell her that day because she was going for walks every day. And I said, don't go for any more walks because I'll be home in 2 days. Yeah, okay. And they reckon that like walks will bring on labour. Yeah. I said, don't go for any more walks. And she goes for a walk that day and goes into labour that night. And I remember apologising to her, and I said, I'll be there soon. I remember Sione Katoa was playing the next day, and he set an alarm for every hour to call me. No way. Every hour, and he'd call me, he'd be like, Flippers, you okay? And I was like, lad, I'm all good. I go to sleep. I said, you got a game to play tomorrow. you got to go to sleep. And then it was maybe about 3 o'clock. He called me again, and I said, like, Docs. I said, my brother's calling me to like make sure I'm all right. I said, go to sleep, get some sleep. And he goes, okay. I just want to make sure you're okay. And I was like, I love you, brother. I was like, thank you for checking in, but I'll be all right. I'll message you when I get there and see him, see Wolfie. And he was like, yep, sweet. And I remember I got to the hospital about early hours of the morning, about just before 7. And I'd gone in, but it was COVID, so it was only allowed one person in the hospital at a time. And my missus' mum was already in there, and they asked the director of the hospital if I could go in. We went to St. George Private, so it's very hard. Private hospitals are way stricter than public hospitals. So they had to ask them, and he said, like, I was getting COVID tested every day in a bubble anyway, and he goes, yeah, all right, you guys can swap. So it was good. The nurses waited for me to get there before we like weighed and measured my son, and it's probably one of the best things that I've done. Yeah, hell of a story to watch my son be born on the side of the road, middle of nowhere, to finally get in to hold him. And we measured him, weighed him, put him on my chest, and we went to sleep straight away. Yeah, wow. And then wake up about 10 o'clock, maybe like 10:30, 11. I woke up and I looked at my phone. There was about 500 calls, 500 messages, and I was like, news reporters, the coaches, the CEOs, everyone were messaging me, congratulating me. I was like, oh yeah, mad, like da da da. And then I get a message from my family, and they were like, "How come you didn't tell us you had baby?" And I was like, "How the hell do these guys know?" And they said it at the game. So pre-game, they said Royce Hunt's supposed to be here, but he had to shoot off late last night to get home to his wife that gave birth.
Yeah.
And I was like, these guys told my whole family before I could even say anything. It was pretty funny, but yeah, it was good. I remember like one of the best things that's happened to me is like,
Far
becoming a
out.
dad. When hell of a story to look back on. But yeah, and then I guess the next year was when Fitzy come in and my game went to another level.
Far out. It's a good way to remember your first childbirth. Well, obviously your wife's first childbirth. It's bro, when you see your wife go through that kind of stuff, it's just like absolute trooper. It's something that until you actually experience it, you just don't appreciate what they go through.
But like just watching it on FaceTime was enough for me. I was like, I don't know if I want to be there for 1 day.
Mate, that's crazy. So what did you end up naming your son?
Wolf.
Wolf. I like that. Wolf. I like that. That's mad.
And then we hyphened his last name, so there's no boys left on my missus' dad's side to carry on the name. So we gave him his last name and mine.
Yeah, oh, that's mad, bro. That's mad. Have you got any other kids since, or
Nah, none
just
yet.
the one?
No, just
the one. Right, that's incredible. Far out. So that year basically is a write-off for you. You didn't play any more footy.
No, I remember calling the coaches. We had an interim coach. It was Josh Hannay at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember calling him and I said, brother, like, I don't know if it'd be worth coming back to the bubble. Like, we weren't sure if we were going to make the 8. And there was probably a month left of the comp. And I said, if I come back in, like, I don't want to be trying to figure out how to be a new parent inside a hotel room for 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, I don't know if I want to do that. Plus, I would come out and have 2 games. Like, he was so understanding. The club was so understanding. They just said, brother, like, if it's up to you. If you want to stay, stay. Like, we want you back. We want you to play. But he said, this is more important for you. And, like, this is your first kid, so enjoy it. Spend time with your family and enjoy it. And I remember having 10 weeks off. So I had, like, it was 10, 12. So I had 10 weeks off for my break and, like, the last couple of weeks for that. And I was like, I had the first 3 months at home with my son, and it was like a blessing in disguise.
Oh,
to
100%.
be home for those first 3 months. And help my wife and figure out a routine to get him into a routine where we could,
mate, 100%.
kind of cope.
I could not imagine having a kid and then doing it the first couple of weeks in a hotel room.
Yeah,
bro, that'd be just torture.
definitely
Not good for anyone.
That's what I was thinking. And my wife was like, I don't really want to go. And I said,
No way. Sitting in a hotel room the whole time.
yeah, like, wouldn't even know if he had a window or not. Like,
Yeah, nah.
stuff that.
Oh man, especially with just a newborn. That's
Yeah.
it's just insane. Far out. That's crazy, bro. So the next year though, Fitzy comes in, and were you nervous at all? Because like when a new coach comes in, sometimes you feel, oh, is he going to like me? Is he going to have his favourites? What was it like for you?
I kind of knew from the get go that I would be like I was kind of on the outer, not really a part of his plans for the future. So, going into that, I remember him calling everyone, like all the boys, and I remember talking to the boys, and they were like, "Yeah, Fitzy's called me," and he hadn't called me yet, and I was like, "Oh, fuck, like
I'm on the out here.
I must be on the outer,
Yeah.
like I must be not a part of his plans." And I said, like, he's not to blame, it's me. Like I've come back from injury, played 2 games last year. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
And like he finally got around to calling me, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you, bro." And I was like, "Yeah, sweet, bro." And then that preseason, I put a tear in the other patella,
Oh,
like
bro.
a little tear. It was enough to make me limp through that preseason. And I was like, oh, like this isn't good for me. Like, so I ended up, I don't know if many people know this, but like me and Fitzy, we butted heads a little bit at the start, like not
Okay.
too much, but
Yeah.
it was more, I feel like I knew what I could offer, but he didn't know. He didn't know me. He was a rookie coach coming through, and it was the first time taking the reins. So he had his plan, and he obviously had like Dale and Cam that come through that year as well, and Nico, and like I think his head was just over there. So it got to a point where I played round 1, played pretty well, come off the bench. me and Sifa both come off the bench, probably the go forward for the team that week, and then I got dropped the next week, and I was like, wow, like I knew this was coming, but like I feel like I need to talk to him. So I went and spoke to him the week after, and I just said, like, where's your head at with me? I kind of get the feeling that like I'm not wanted, which like it sucks, but I understand. I said, like I learnt my lesson from the Raiders with not saying too much when I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I just thought, like, what have I got to lose? So like I just went and I was honest from the start. I said, like, I feel like I'm not really wanted here. Is there like a reason, or is there something I could work on? He goes, yeah. He goes, I feel like you've got a lot of talent, but like it's like your work ethic's not there. And I said, like, I get it. Like I've just come back from this knee. It took me 10 months to recover from.
Yeah.
Put a tear in the other one. I said, I understand. Like my body's breaking down a little bit, but like I'm getting back. I'm good to go now. And then I think another week had passed, and I'd gone back in. I'd called my manager and I said, like, I feel like I'm an outer. I'm going to go talk to him and see, like, if I'm not wanted here, is there a chance I could go to another club? And I spoke to him. Fitzy, like, he's the man. Like, he's so transparent with me now. And like I wasn't used to that from a coach.
Yeah.
And like I spoke to him. I said, bro, like, I understand that you've got a lot of depth in the middles here. Would it be okay if I was to look at another club? And he goes, he was like, he had a pause, and he was thinking. He was like, oh, how do I say it? And then he goes, I would maybe entertain it if it wasn't a direct threat to us. So in other words, like, go to a bottom team, not one of the top ones. And I said to him, I said, all right, like, I'll talk to my manager and see what happens. And called my manager, walked out of that meeting, called my manager, and he goes, sweet, let me have a look. Called me back 2 days later and goes, Para are pretty keen to take you for the rest of this year and next year. And I said, sweet. Went back to Fitzy that day, 2 days after we had a chat, and I just said, like, Para's pretty keen to take me. Can I go? And he just looks at me and goes, nah. That was the year Para made the final. And I was like, he goes, nah. Which was definitely a blessing in disguise, because it made me work harder. Like, I knew I was going to have to work hard coming back from like these bung knees. But I remember I played another game of Cup, and then I was 18th man in Melbourne, and then I played grade the next week, and it was all right. Like, I played, come off the bench, and then someone got injured, maybe Braden, and we're in the middles meeting, and then after he called me in and he goes, I want you to start this week. And I was like, start? I was like, well, I was playing Cup 2 weeks ago. And then he goes, I want you to start. And I said, sweet. Like, whatever you need, whatever the team needs, like, I'm all for it. Started well, was against Manly. We pumped Manly. I played well, started well, and then started that whole year. Didn't look back, just kept moving forward. Every hurdle that he put in my way, like, I went straight through it. And like, he says it now, like, me and Fitzy are real tight. Like, we're good enough to talk to on a, like, just a normal mate basis. And he's one of the most genuine people I've ever met. He messaged me when I just before I started pre-season with the Tigers, and he's just like, Matt, like, whatever you need, just let me know. I'm here. Message me if you need anything, any help with anything. Like, footy wise, on or off the field. If it's on the field, he goes, if you want me to go over video, if you want me to give you some pointers, just message or call me. Like, I'm always here. And I said, like, I appreciate you. Yeah. But yeah, like, he always says that he wishes he could take back the start of, or where we started and start again. And I said, brother, like, I'm not someone to hold on to things like that. Like, I get why you had to do it. Like, there's some boys who won't get enough minutes or not play the week, and they'll be filthy and like kicking stones and stuff. And I just said, like, my mentality, like, I've been in that position where like I'm good enough to play, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Like I've been there, done that. So for me, it's always moving forward. I got a mindset where I can't be stuck in the same place for too long. Like I always have to keep moving forward, and I'm never going back. And like I explained that to Fitz. I said, like, what happened has happened. Like, we are here now. We're in the present. Like I'm not looking back to dwell on anything. I said we're moving forward, but I said I understand why you did it all. Like it's not your fault. You're a new coach. You had no idea who I was or what I was capable of. And like I still feel like I've got so much to offer. Just it's crazy, but for him to then do a full like 180 and show me some support and give me some like trust and faith. And
a 3-year deal. Was it a 3-year deal that you signed as well? After that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest show of faith ever.
And I said to him like I'll repay you. And then after the World, like obviously I went on to World Cup that year, made that like the SAR team and amongst some very good players. Like it was a pretty surreal year that year, and from starting cup to starting every game pretty much to a World Cup and a grand final in the World Cup.
Yeah.
So that year was pretty big for me, and when I come back, I had another meeting, like talk with Fitzy, and that's when I said like I understand why he did everything, but like I'm not one to dwell on the past. So like we're here now, got another 2 years after that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I signed 1 year.
Oh, 1 year, okay, and then a 2 year. Yeah, okay. And so this year, heading into the final series, there was just so much talk about you boys, like far out for like a relatively smaller club, the Sharkies. Like all the headlines were around the Sharkies. Did you? What was it like inside the bubble? Not the bubble, but inside the rugby league bubble, heading into finals this year for you boys?
No, it was good. Like we've learnt from our lessons. Like we learnt everything. We knew that there was a lot of pressure on us to win a finals game.
Yeah.
The last 2-3 years we hadn't won a finals game, and it was kind of like a chip on the shoulder, but no pressure. So we were just thinking like it's another game for us. Like we know we've done the work. We've prepared well enough to be here. We've earned our right to be here. We finished the table second in defence. We've done the hard yards, the hard work to be where we are. So why not us? And then we beat Cows. And that was a good feeling, man. Like, because everyone was like, they were going to choke again in the first final. They're out, and to make a prelim against the reigning premiers, it was pretty cool. And I thought we did well. Like at the start, we grinded hard with them, but they just don't stop.
Yeah, no, they love that. Like that's their game.
They just don't stop, and you know, I think the Sharkies will have their window to premiership over the next few years, but. You know, the Tigers will have something to say about that too.
I hope so, man. Could you imagine if the Tigers go on a crazy run this year? I mean, they'll be everyone's second favourite team if they do.
Bro, we're going to be flying under the radar.
I like it, mate. And I was speaking before the show, though, mate, this segment's brought to you by Grumpy Coffee, grumpycoffee.com.au. Grab your Grumpy Coffee today. We got pods, we got beans at grumpycoffee.com.au. I want to ask you, mate, what makes you grumpy? And what turns your frown upside down?
What makes me grumpy? Well, apart from early mornings, you know, my wife makes me pretty grumpy sometimes. But she's also the reason that frown gets turned upside down.
Absolutely.
She puts a smile on my face every day, her and my son. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Are you going to have any more kids, you reckon?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
My son needs a sibling, so, you know, we'll just enjoy the process.
Yeah. How old is he now? Would be 2 or 3?
3.
3. Have you gone through the crazy toddler phase?
Oh, but he's still going through it.
Yeah, okay.
He's still going through it. He's a menace. He wakes up some mornings and just can't be bothered. He'll be like, no. And I'm like, bro. And then this morning he was playing with his toy, dropped it next to him, and then like started screaming because he couldn't find it. I said, brother, it's right next to your head. It's right next to your head,
bro.
Like, 6:30 in the morning, he's screaming. I was like, bro.
Oh, I got he's about 1 year, 3 or 4 months. And so I'm very nervous about year 2 and 3, terrible 2s and all that stuff.
Bro. Like 2, I reckon 2s is better than the 3s, man.
Okay, wow.
For this guy, man, I was just going, bro, come on.
We're going through this phase where my son, he like headbutts. I don't know why. He just like, he'll headbutt. He just sits there and he'll start headbutting like just anything. like the walls.
Yeah.
Like if he's upset, he'll headbutt you. Like he just, it's like
my son went through that until
mental.
he learned how to punch. And now he just throws hands. But he could be sitting there and he's like, if you're not listening to him, he just goes smack. Like,
no.
what the heck? Are you sure you want to do that?
Oh, that's so good, mate. Yeah, he's my one. He's just and I'm sure you're the same. They just like they got no self-preservation. Like they'll throw them. Oh, mine will throw himself off the friggin' the couch. Like just crazy, bro.
No fear,
no fear.
No fear at all. My son would like climb up on the kitchen table and jump off it.
Bro, mental.
I'm just going, what are you doing? There's tiles here. Doesn't care,
mate.
He climbs on anything just to jump off, and I'm going, bro, like
100%.
You're killing me. You're killing me.
Mate, I ask all the boys this: favorite rapper of all time?
Favorite rapper, probably Biggie.
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 Okay. Favorite movie of all time?
Ooh. Movie. It's a tough one, eh? Like I watch a lot.
You're a big movie man. What are you into at the moment? What's your most recent watch where you loved it?
We're watching The Resident now, my wife and I.
The Resident.
It's on Netflix. It's like a doctor movie. Okay. Doctor TV series. It's pretty cool. Like, it's good.
All right.
But we watch lots. Say we go from like Teen Wolf was the first one we started.
Yep.
Back when I was 17.
Yeah.
Like we love that.
Is that still going? Is that still going at all?
The movie just come out this year, pretty sure.
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf. Like it's mad. Like when I was 17 watching it.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been on a missus since I was 16.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like we've watched so much TV series and movies.
Have you watched, what about Harry Potter? You're a Harry Potter fan?
I do like Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's mad, bro.
Harry Potter's like one of the goats.
100% one of the goats. Anytime you don't watch it for a year or two and you go back and watch the whole series again.
Yeah, literally, you watch the first one, you're like,
so
I'm going to watch all of them now.
100%. Same with Lord of the Rings. Once you get back into it, you just get locked in, bro.
100%.
Favorite movie of all time, though?
Favorite? Oh. Well, you can't go past like the Fast and Furious. Like
the first few, for sure.
The first few are the best.
Tokyo Drift's my favorite.
I literally watched that yesterday.
Bro. Best song ever comes out of that. And also, I thought the cars were the best as well.
Yeah, how good are the cars on it, bro?
Like because I'm not a big car guy, but I thought they had the best cars.
I love cars. Like you watch number one, you're like, you used to think those were mad cars, and now you're looking at them like, those are shit boxes, bro. And you watch like number two with like the Skyline and that. I love Sky. That's what made me love Skylines.
Well, Vin Diesel, I think he's come out and said they want to get back to the OG style.
Surely, bro, not flying from planes.
Yeah, that like I get why they had to do that, like the power creep it all, and like I get you've got to go bigger and bigger and bigger. But go back to like the OG.
The street racing.
Yeah, 100.
What started it?
100%.
You know, end of Tokyo Drift where he's going to race him? Go back to that, man. Come 100%. On. I want to see that race.
Absolutely. Okay, I like that. The Fast and Furious for sure. Mate, thanks so much for joining us, bro. Really appreciate it. And, mate, what a story. What a story. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, brother.